If nobody else likes to question you, I found your approach very interesting. That you said the copyright owner or the author should have a right to share in the benefits, because that is something we're not talking about nowadays when we talk about copyright remuneration, because the whole system, well, it bases on the idea of exclusive rights, and when you reduce it, the exclusive right, in order to have an exceptional limitation, then you will have a levy. And this is something completely different, because a levy will be paid independent of the fact whether there is some actual benefit for the user or not. So you have to pay for the for the use in any case, no matter if the other person, the user, benefits in commercial terms or not. But it is a completely different approach to say he has the right to share in the benefit, because there has to be one benefit until he gets this claim to share it. And this, I find this very interesting, because it's a very, well, just basic questions, how to transform a system that we have today into some other approaches. Maybe you should rethink the idea of that every use has to be paid for, to the idea there is some interest of the author or the rights holder that is absolutely adequate and that should be served, but this interest raises only when there is some benefit that is raised by the user. And if not, there is no payment.
Right, so I think that the essence of shifting from a proprietary regime that requires a license for each and every use, even if you're losing by using, right, the content, to a legal regime that is actually based on a restitutional instinct, right? I mean, you can use my work, you can read the book that I wrote, but if you're making money out of it, give me a share, right? I mean, so if this is something that is, you know, for personal use, that could be a proxy for it, right? But if for personal use you're making money somehow, then I think the author should get a share from it. And I think what is interesting is that we are now reaching a stage where we actually have the tools for it. But these tools of monitoring use are being abused, I would say, to detect whether a work was actually posted or displayed or played or performed. But these are all proxies for the actual task that we were looking for, that is whether it makes money or not, right? So I don't care if you copied it or displayed it. If you manage to generate profits, then that should target the entitlement of the author. Otherwise, free access should prevail.
My name is Oliver Kassendijk. I also found your ideas very inspiring and very interesting. With regard to the German debate on copyright reform, I would say one of the major topics and major problems is the question, which was raised also by Till Kreuzer, how far we could go with a levy system or with enlarging levy systems. And the problem I wanted to pose, and which will come up in this discussion, is the price mechanism, or the absence of a proper price mechanism. Because normally a levy in Germany at least, or in many other European countries, is set by a governing body like Patentamt, or by a kind of commission, or in the end by judges. We have, of course, experience with this kind of systems from the Middle Ages on, where bread prices were set by government. But it has proven to be a non-efficient system of allocation, to put it mildly. So how can we enlarge levy systems without losing the core, the essence of our system, which is a price mechanism?
So that's a very good question. I think what I was suggesting is not a levy in the sense that there would be a fixed price to some service or some commodity, then that would then be distributed among owners. But what we will do is that first we will actually attach the right to revenue or to some compensations to the work, to the actual work, so that a work that is more successful will get more than a work that is less successful. Let's say that each time anyone makes a profit from my book, they need to give me 1%, right, of any type of revenues they make. Like they put commercials on it, fine. They display it online and charge a license fee. Someone is willing to pay for it even though it is freely available. That's okay. Whatever price is being charged, or whatever revenue is extracted from the use of the work, then let's say I'm entitled to 1%, or of course less, right? We will talk about micro percentages. And then the price system will work in the sense that it would, the market system, or the role of copyright in creating a market and actually also determining what's important, what should be more successful than others, will still work, as opposed to the levy system that requires a committee to decide how much you pay and then how it is being distributed between the different players. So I don't think that we should use the levy anymore. I think that we should use the technologies that allow us to to actually monitor revenues, which is better than monitoring use, and then to transfer the share rather than fixing a price without any information. That's the idea.
Thank you very much, Nat.
Sure.